Welcome back to another episode at Consciously Evolving Enterprises. For this one, I'm actually sitting down, ladies and gentlemen. I usually stand up. It's a little bit more comfortable for me to talk. So please enjoy. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is a paranormal story. Paranormal events have never really been strange to me. They've always been around in my life, always been happening. And the advice is don't pay any attention to it. If you don't pay any attention to it, you don't feed it, it doesn't get stronger, it will leave. And it usually does. In most cases, some strange things happen. You say, woo, and then it will subside. As a young man, many of the experiences. If anything, you could say it was one. Not that I attracted them, but I seen them. I knew they were there. I could feel them. I could see them there. Big imagination as well. So the imagination then would feed into what I'd seen, and then therefore giving it energy. And that energy would then festate whatever paranormal events were happening in that childhood home of mine. So I learnt over the years that you don't pay it any attention, you don't talk to it, you don't argue with it. If anything, you go and get some sage incense and you cleanse the house. You simply walk around, have a laugh and a giggle, clap your hands, talk about good times, talk about the birth of children, because these are the happy and the fun times that will cleanse the house. Sing your favourite song. Why not? Kumamatata, or whatever it might be. But these are the things that, like I said, will help cleanse the house. This event started happening, started happening at a previous house of mine. It was on a road called Bay Road, pretty close to the beach, but it was an old fisherman's house. Very hut built into a modern day unit. And it was a lovely place, 5 minutes away from the beach. I really enjoyed it. My children would come over every second weekend. They also enjoyed living there for quite some time, until the point where I met a partner, and the suggestions about moving into together started coming up. These paranormal events started happening more frequently, I should say, because previous to this, anything that happened, I just ignored it, didn't feed into it. But we noticed that the running down the hallway started to get louder and increase. Now, this was running of what sounded like two children running down the hallway, and when it would get to the lounge room door, dead stop. It would be like, boom, and as soon as it gets to that doorway, it would stop. You'd go and stand in that doorway and it wouldn't happen again. And you're like, oh my gosh, what? Go and sit back on the couch, put your feet on the floor, and you can literally feel the running on the floor, like the vibrations of it. And then to get to the door, you're just waiting for kids to run around the doorway, and they don't come around the doorway, and you're like, oh my God. All right, what the freak is that, man? That is freaky deaky. So you get up, you have a look around, and you tell it, you don't belong here. You must leave, go towards the light. And then you realise that you're now communicating with it. Oh gosh, out of fright and fear, I'm now communicating with it. Dang. So you know what? I'm going to go down the shop tomorrow. I'm going to get some incense. During that night, go to bed, throw the blankets over myself. Don't think much of it. And I kind of open my eyes and I see what looks like a black sheet flowing around the room. It was like not a real dense black sheet, but like a silky black lacy sheet. And my eyes are kind of like, what am I looking at? And zoom back and forth. It's floating around, and I thought I can see something here. As dark as the room is, there's something there. So jump up, I turn the light on. I'm like, whoa! Turn the light on. There's nothing there. I think, yeah, all right. Leave the light on for a minute. I think, all right, turn the light off, jump back into bed. And my eyes are wide open now. I'm looking around the room going, I'm waiting for it. Where is it? Where is it? I'm now in suspense. Where is it? And then I hear a voice as clear as day. G'day. Like that. What? I'm thinking, I just heard that. Really? Did I just hear that? I'm just fixating so much and waiting for something to happen that I heard something. And I waited again. I'm waiting. And I actually didn't hear anything else for a while. So, all right, days off sleep. Put my head on the pillow. I'm just going to go to sleep. You know, so, right. And I'm laying there dead still. And as things just start to quieten down and, you know, you're starting to settle into an actual sleep, I know, like, sudden nudge of the bed, you know, like, it's like, you know, just as you go to sleep, oh, you think, did that really happen? Did that really happen? Was that just me? So you lay there, you pretend to be asleep, you close your eyes, you roll over, you pull the sheets up, you think, I'll just pretend to be asleep. I'll catch it, I'll feel it if it's not. And then I noticed my heart rate was so heavy that the actual bed was bouncing at the same time as my heart rate. Boom, 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 and the bed's literally vibrating with my heart rate. I thought, all right, what? Jesus Christ, what is going in my house tonight? So, you know what, get up for a while, jump up, turn all the lights on. I turn all the lights on and think, you know what, I just take a breather, turn some telly on, man. So I'll turn the telly on, you know, I'll take a breather. All right, laying there, sitting there on the couch for a minute, going, this is what, it's really happening. There's something's happening here, man. As I'm thinking that, I hear a cup fall from out the kitchen. A bank on the floor, and I went, no, I'm not going out there, not tonight. No way. And then the telly turns off. What? No way. No, not tonight. No, no. Come on, man. No way. I'll just lay on the city for a sec. And then in the silence itself, the silence started to scare me. And I think I need some noise. I need something to happen here. So I'll go over, I'll check all the cords on the telly. Everything's all right. I turn it off. I'll turn it on again at the power point. It turns back on. Watching some telly. All right. Half an hour kicks by. Hour kicks by. I'm thinking, all right, whatever it was, it's settled down now. Yay. Telly turns off again. I went, no, this is no way, man. I think I'm not. All right, maybe the telly's just faulty. It's, coincidence happened. You know, all right, I'm just going to leave the telly off and turn my phone on. I'm watching YouTube on my phone. So I'll turn my phone on and I'm in the lounge room with all the lights on, watching my phone. And this is all in one night. I mean, there's just nothing else can happen. Come on. If anything else has happened, I'm literally going to run up the street for a friend's house. This is... Anyway, so I get this ominous feeling that through the curtain of the lounge room window that I'm being watched. Yeah, just through the crack. And I'm like, I've got this ominous feeling. Somebody's there. I'm being watched. My heart rate's going. Like, you know that feeling. Someone's watching you. Anyways, you go up to shut that crack of the curtain, and a meter before I get to the window, the door shutters with what seemed like a wind breeze. And I went, whoa, oh, and I dashed over, closed the curtain, dashed back to the couch, jumped back on with me blanket, pulled that up with me phone. I'm going, this can't go on. So anyways, I think, what can I do, you know? So I think, all right, well, I'm going to ring the girl that I'm seeing. I'm going to tell her this is what's been happening. And I was thinking, is that a good idea? Is it not going to make a good impression? And no, I shouldn't. No, I won't do that. Anyway, who else was I? I've got a good mate, Shano. I'm going to call Shano. He knows about this stuff just as much as I do. I'm going to let him know that there's some freaky shit coming over. And if I need you to come over, mate, because like there's freaky shit happening tonight, right now. Anyway, so I do. I call Shano and I tell him, look, man, there's so much stuff happening tonight at the house. I says, you know how it's been building up? He says, yeah, man. And he said, do you remember that electrical storm that you had at your place? I said, oh, that one about, 3 or 4 weeks ago? He says, yeah, the thunder and the lightning that, rolled up the street. He said, every time I've come around your place since, I've felt something there. And I thought, oh, well, can you come around tonight, man? Can you come around tonight? And he said, yeah, look, I will. Give me an hour and I'll be there. You know, I understand what's going on for you. Anyway, so an hour passes. Not much really happens in that hour. We're now building up to early hours of the morning now. You know, we're around 2 o'clock, 2:30. Headlights show up out front and think, thank God, someone else is here. Shano's here. Yep, excellent. Jumps out of the car. He comes in. He goes, all right, man, well, let's go out to the garage and we'll have a smoke and, you know, we'll chat about what's been going on. And anyways, me and him, topic of conversation and talking about paranormal activity, you know, and he says, well, look, when I was a boy, 3, my parents actually took me to the church, to a priest, to get an exorcism done because they believed I was possessed by a demon. And I was really, Shane, fair income. And he goes, yeah, man. And just as you took another breath to say another word, dead set, my car from out the front with its handbrake on somehow came loose, slid into my garage, dinning the front of the garage, making the loudest noise. Both me and Shano jumped back. Now, when we've looked at this, something's just crashed into the garage straight away. And what looked to us, the dent in the garage, seemed like a body. It seemed like someone had just been thrown out of the car that passed the road, and they fell down my driveway and smacked into the garage door. We're looking at it going, that's the imprint of a body. Oh my God. We're both freaked out. And then, as I said, we went to investigate and looked in my car. It's dead set now up against the garage door. What the heck? What happened? My handbrake's up, man. And I checked it, and the handbrake is still up. And I'm thinking, how the hell did it happen? How did that happen, man? And both me and Shane were shuddering in our boots going, man, this is full on. And I said, I told you, dude. I told you something's going on tonight. And he says, yeah, man, well, I agree. Let's go back inside. We'll chillax, no more ciggies tonight. We'll go inside, turn some telly. I said, we can't turn the telly on, man. It keeps on turning itself off. And he kind of goes, He said, what about your phone? And I said, yeah, well, I was watching that and then I called you. And so we went back inside and, watching the phone for a bit. And we both end up crashing out, in the wee early hours of the morning. Shano ends up going home. The following week, there was not much activity in the house, but I then started to pack up. Yeah, I'm now starting to pack up because I'm ready to move. And then the day of moving comes out after these odd activities and little bangs and cracks and scratches and knocks have been happening. Been trying my best to ignore them because that's what you do. You ignore them. So that's what I was trying to do. The day that I'm literally loads out into the car, it's only me. It's only me there. I'm taking boxes out into the car. Second load out, goes to the car and I hear inside, Dylan! I went, yeah. And then I went, whoa, hang on. I'm the only one home. And then I walked back inside, I put my head in the front door and I said, hello? Hello, anyone there? And didn't hear nothing. I thought, all right, I'm just going to grab some more boxes. So I grab another 2 boxes, walk outside, I put them in the car, and then I'm walking back up the stairs, and closer to me now, almost in front of that doorway, Dylan. I'm looking there, and there's that voice in front of me, and there's nobody there saying it. It is right there, floating in the air, and there's nobody saying it. I took 2 steps back, and I took a deep breath and I went, that is freaky deaky, man. I jumped on the phone to Shano and I said, Shano, I need you to come around, man, if you're not busy. And he said, yeah, man, it's Saturday, I'm not too busy. Pretty much woke up anyway, what's going on? And I said, man, I just heard somebody call my name twice inside. And he said, oh, who's there? Are your daughters home? And I said, no, there's nobody home, man. It's just me moving stuff into the car. And he goes, oh, man. I said, oh, yeah, I know, man. And again, we both shuddered on the phone, going, oh, my God. He said, no worry. Again, give me about 45 minutes to an hour and I will be there. So then I sat on that veranda for the hour until Shano turned up. Then Shano helped me move some stuff. Halfway through moving, we had the back door slam. We heard cupboards close. We heard other things being moved around and things that weren't even there. So both me and Shano packed up the house as quick as we could, locked that door, handed the keys back into the real estate, and lived happily ever after. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do these days. Cheers.